The night was heavy with noise, light, and strange voices. Across the alien marketplace, glowing signs floated in the air. The place was not like anything a human could imagine. Tall towers of crystal shined with colors. Strange creatures with many eyes and arms moved in crowds, and the air smelled of smoke mixed with sweet fruits from unknown worlds. At the center of this chaos stood an old alien. His skin was gray and rough, his eyes were deep and sharp, and his voice carried both power and pride. He was known across the stars as a man of wealth and risk. Many called him a gambler. Others whispered that he was cursed. But tonight he wanted to prove his strength once again. The alien sat at a large round table made of black stone. Around him were other gamblers, creatures from different worlds, some with tails, some with wings, some glowing like fire. They all stared at the table where strange dice rolled and bright cards floated in the air like magic. The old alien's hands trembled, but not from fear. He loved the thrill. He lived for the risk. He had already lost much wealth tonight, but his pride was greater than his losses. He wanted one final game, one last chance to win back his power. As the game continued, his opponents laughed at him. "You are old," one alien said with a grin of sharp teeth. "Your luck is gone. Leave before you lose everything." But the old alien only smiled. His pride would not let him walk away. "I will not leave," he said, his voice echoing across the hall. "I will wager more than gold, more than jewels, more than ships." The crowd leaned closer. What could be greater than ships, jewels, and power? Then the alien spoke words that froze the air. "I wager my bloodline," he declared. "I wager my daughter." The hall went silent. No one moved. Even the music outside seemed to stop. His daughter, the one who carried his legacy, his name, his honor. To gamble away blood was unthinkable, even for the wildest gamblers. But the old alien did not care. His eyes burned with madness. "Do you accept?" he asked the other players. One by one, the aliens nodded, their greedy eyes shining. They could not resist such a prize. A daughter of noble blood was worth more than any treasure. Among the watchers stood a figure that did not belong. A human. He was tall but not powerful like the alien warriors. His clothes were simple, his face calm, but his eyes were sharp, full of hidden fire. Most aliens ignored him, some laughed at him. To them, humans were weak, small creatures, good only for labor and trade. But the human did not move. He kept watching silently, carefully. The game began again. Dice rolled, cards spun, and the crowd whispered. The old alien's face was hard, full of pride. He believed he could not lose. His daughter's future, his family's name, his very bloodline, he placed it all on the table without fear. But deep inside, a storm grew. Was he too confident? Was he blind with pride? The crowd leaned closer as the game reached its peak. The stakes were high, the tension heavy. Sweat dripped down the alien's forehead, his rough hands gripping the cards tightly. And in the shadows, the human stepped forward. His calm voice broke the silence. "I will play," he said. The crowd laughed. A human? Competing with great aliens? Impossible. But his eyes were steady, his tone unshaken. The old alien turned, staring at him with both surprise and anger. "You, a human?" "Yes," the man said. "If the prize is your wager, then I will play." Whispers spread like fire. Some mocked, others grew curious. Could a human really dare to join such a dangerous gamble? The old alien narrowed his eyes. Pride burned hotter in him. "Very well," he said with a cruel smile. "Join the game, human. And when you lose, you will regret stepping into my world." The human gave no answer. He simply took his place at the table. The glowing cards spun, the dice rolled again, and silence fell across the hall. The gamble had begun. The hall was quiet after the human's words. Aliens of every shape and color stared at him. Some had wings that fluttered. Some had glowing eyes. Others had sharp teeth that clicked with amusement. Laughter soon broke out across the tables. "A human?" One alien barked, his voice like thunder. "This is a game for warriors, nobles, and rulers. Humans are nothing but servants." Another alien hissed, her long tongue flicking in the air. "He will lose before the dice even touch the table." But the human did not move, did not shake, did not look afraid. His calm eyes stayed fixed on the old alien. His voice was soft but firm. "I said I will play. If you are brave enough to wager your daughter, then you should be brave enough to face me." The crowd roared with laughter again, but this time it carried a touch of unease. The man's courage was unusual. Most humans avoided alien games, especially ones with such dangerous stakes. Yet here he was, standing tall, ready to gamble against creatures far stronger and older than him. The old alien narrowed his eyes, his pride burning like fire. He could not refuse, not after making such a bold wager in front of so many. If he denied the human, the crowd would whisper that he was afraid. His reputation would be ruined. Very well, the old alien said, his voice cold. Sit, human. Join the game. Let us see how long you last. The human walked to the table. His steps were steady, his hands calm. He took the seat across from the old alien, and the glowing cards floated to his side. The dice rolled toward him, shining with strange symbols that seemed alive. The other gamblers leaned back, curious now. Could this human really stand against them? Or was he walking into his own doom? The first round began. The human picked up the dice, their light glowing in his hand. He rolled. The symbols danced, spun, and landed in his favor. Gasps rose from the crowd. The alien sneered, claiming it was luck. The old alien smirked, throwing his own dice with skill. His symbols were strong, but the humans were equal. The first round was a tie, the second round came. Cards appeared in the air, floating like feathers. Each player had to choose to gamble, to risk. The human studied them carefully. His eyes moved slowly, like he was searching for a hidden pattern. Then he made his choice. When the cards landed, the crowd gasped again. The human had won the round. The laughter of the aliens grew quieter. Whispers spread through the hall. Impossible, one muttered. Cheating, another hissed. No human could beat him. But the judges of the game, ancient floating orbs of light, confirmed the result. No trick, no lie. The human had won fair and true. The old alien's face twisted with anger. His pride was stung. Losing to another alien was one thing. Losing to a human was humiliation. His gray skin darkened, his eyes burned. You are lucky, human, the old alien growled. Luck never lasts. The human only answered with silence. His calmness was a blade cutting through the alien's pride. The game continued. Round after round, the human surprised them all. Sometimes he won, sometimes he lost, but he never broke, never shook, never looked afraid. Every move he made was careful, thoughtful, almost like he was reading the game itself. The crowd grew restless. Some aliens leaned closer, fascinated. Others shouted insults, hoping to break the human's focus. But nothing worked. By the middle of the match, the whispers had changed. No longer laughter, but unease. Who is he? How does he know our ways? Could it be? Humans are more dangerous than we thought. The old alien's hands trembled as he played. His pride demanded victory, but for the first time in years he felt something he had forgotten. Fear. Then came the final round. The stakes were everything. The daughter's future. The alien's pride. The human's honor. The hall grew silent. The air was heavy. The glowing dice hovered in the air, waiting. The human reached for them. His eyes locked on the old alien's, steady and unshaken. Are you ready? He asked softly. The old alien snarled, baring his sharp teeth. I was born ready, human. Roll and see your doom. The dice spun in the air, glowing brighter than ever. The crowd held its breath. The human's hands released them, and the symbols began to turn. Would luck betray him? Would his calm mind save him? Would the old alien keep his daughter or lose her forever? The room was frozen in suspense, every eye fixed on the glowing dice. And then they began to fall. The dice fell with a sound like thunder. They rolled across the dark stone table, glowing symbols flashing as they slowed. Every eye in the hall followed their path. The crowd leaned forward, breathless, waiting for the result. The dice stopped. A gasp spread through the hall. The human's roll was strong, stronger than anyone expected. The glowing orbs that served as judges confirmed the outcome with a soft hum. The human had won the first part of the final round. The old alien's face grew darker, his eyes narrow with fury. His claws tapped against the table, sharp and restless. Luck, he growled. Only luck. He took the dice in his rough hands and rolled. The glowing symbols spun wildly, faster than before, as if his anger itself had pushed them harder. When they landed, the crowd roared. His roll was higher. The alien smiled, his sharp teeth glinting. See, human? You cannot win against me. The human stayed calm. His face showed no fear, no anger, no pride. Only focus. He looked at the last part of the game, the cards. The cards floated into the air, shimmering with strange lights. They were not normal cards. Each one carried meaning, power, and risk. To win, the player had to choose carefully. The human studied them. His eyes moved slowly, calmly, as though he could see something invisible to everyone else. The crowd grew restless, whispering and waiting. "Choose, human," the old alien said, his voice filled with pride. "Do not waste our time. Choose and lose." The human reached out. His hand hovered over one card, then another, then another. Finally, he stopped. With steady fingers, he pulled a single glowing card from the air and placed it on the table. The alien laughed. "A weak choice." He grabbed his own card quickly as if certain of his victory. The cards began to glow brighter. The judges hummed. Slowly, the truth of the final round was revealed. The human's card shone with a brilliant golden light. The alien's card dimmed to a weak red glow. The hall erupted. Gasps, shouts, and even screams filled the air. The human had won. For a long moment, the old alien could not move. His hands froze, his jaw tightened. His eyes refused to believe what they saw. He had wagered his bloodline, his daughter, his very pride, and he had lost to a human. The crowd broke into chaos. Some aliens shouted in disbelief. Others laughed cruelly at the old alien's shame. A few stared at the human with new respect, whispering words of fear and curiosity. The old alien slammed his fists onto the table, cracking the black stone. His voice shook the hall. "Impossible. He cheated. He must have cheated." But the glowing judges hovered above, humming softly. Their light confirmed the truth. The human had played fair. The human had won. The old alien's body trembled with rage. His pride screamed for denial, but the rules of the game were ancient, older than his own name. Once the wager was made and the game was judged, no one could break the outcome. His daughter now belonged to the human. In the shadows of the hall, she stepped forward. Her eyes were sharp, her face pale with shock. She had not spoken during the gamble, but now she looked at her father with disbelief and betrayal. You gave me away," she whispered. Her voice carried across the silent hall. The old alien could not meet her eyes. His pride had destroyed him, and now his daughter stood as proof of his shame. The human turned toward her. His gaze was calm, steady, not cruel. He bowed his head slightly as if showing respect. "I do not claim you as a prize," he said softly. But the game was played and the choice was not mine. The hall grew tense again. Whispers spread quickly. Will the human keep her? Will he free her? Or will he rule her as master? The old alien roared, slamming his hand again. "No, she is mine. You cannot take her. You cannot." The judge's light flared brighter, cutting him off. The ancient voice of the game echoed through the hall. The wager was made. The game was played. The human is victor. The daughter is his. Silence. The old alien sank into his seat, his pride shattered. His eyes glared at the human, full of hatred and shame. He would never forgive. The human stood, his expression unchanged. He looked at the daughter once more, his calm voice breaking the silence. "I did not come here to take. I came here to prove." The crowd stirred. What did he mean? Prove what? The daughter's eyes narrowed. She did not answer, did not step closer. Instead, she turned and walked toward the edge of the hall, her mind heavy with confusion. The human followed slowly, while behind them the old alien burned with fury. He had lost his daughter, but more than that, he had lost to a human. The shame was unbearable. His heart screamed for revenge. And though the game was over in his mind, the war had just begun. The hall was still echoing with whispers when the daughter stepped into the light. She moved slowly, her tall figure wrapped in silver cloth that shimmered like water. Her skin glowed faintly and her eyes burned like twin stars, sharp, proud, and unbroken. Even in her silence, her presence demanded respect. Every alien in the room stared at her. Some lowered their eyes in awe. Others watched with hunger, imagining the power she carried as the bloodline of a noble house. But her gaze did not wander. It fell only on her father first and then on the human. The old alien lowered his head, unable to meet her eyes. He had gambled away everything, and for the first time, shame hung heavy on his shoulders. His pride had destroyed the very thing he should have protected. Her voice cut through the silence. "You lost me." Simple words, but they struck like a blade. The crowd stirred, waiting to see how she would react. The human stood tall, his calm face unchanged. He looked at her, not as a master, not as a conqueror, but as a man who understood the weight of what had happened. His voice was low, steady, respectful. "I did not ask for this. Your father wagered and the game judged. I only played fair." Her sharp eyes narrowed. "Fair?" she repeated, her tone dripping with anger. "To be traded like coin? To be passed like a prize? The human did not answer at once. He let her words hang in the air. Then he said, "I do not see you as a prize. I see you as a person, but the rules were not mine. Still, I will not chain you. You will choose your path." The crowd gasped. A human offering freedom? To many aliens, this was madness. They expected him to claim his prize, to boast of his victory. Instead, he offered respect. The daughter's face softened for a moment, but her pride quickly returned. She turned her head sharply, refusing to show weakness. "You speak noble words, human, but words are air. The truth will be in your actions." The old alien finally lifted his head, fury burning in his eyes. "Do not believe him," he shouted. "He tricked us. He stole you. He is nothing but a thief wearing the mask of honor." The judges glowed again, their ancient hum cutting his words short. The outcome of the gamble could not be changed. But his voice carried weight, and the crowd began to whisper louder. Some aliens nodded in agreement with the old father. "The human is a liar." Others shook their heads. "No, he won fairly. We saw it with our own eyes." The hall was dividing, tension rising like a storm. The daughter stood between them, her heart heavy with confusion. She had grown in a world where humans were seen as weak, as lesser beings, and yet this human had beaten her father in a game of pride and chance. Worse, he had shown her more respect in one moment than her father had in years. She turned back to the human. "Why did you play? You could have walked away. You could have left me to my father's pride." The human's eyes held a quiet fire, because someone had to. "His wager was not only about you. It was about all humans. He thought we were weak, unworthy. I played to show him and everyone watching that humanity is not to be dismissed." Her breath caught. For the first time she understood. This was not only about her fate, it was about the place of humans in the galaxy. But her father's voice thundered again. "You will not go with him. I forbid it." The hall broke into chaos. Some shouted for her to stay, others demanded that the human's victory be respected. The air grew heavy, guards began to move, and the crowd pushed closer. The human raised a hand, calm as ever. "Enough, the choice is hers. She may stay or go, but know this, if she chooses me, I will protect her, not as property, as an ally." The daughter looked at him long and hard. She did not answer, not yet. Her pride would not let her submit so quickly. But deep inside, she felt a spark of curiosity, a question that refused to leave her mind. Could a human truly be different from the arrogance of her own kind? The old alien clenched his fists, his pride screaming in his chest. He could not bear the sight of his daughter standing silently with the human. Shame burned him like fire. In his heart, a dark seed began to grow, a seed of revenge. The daughter finally turned away, her voice low but strong. "I will walk with you, human, but do not think I trust you yet." The human nodded, showing no pride in her choice. "Trust is earned," he said. The crowd erupted again, half in rage, half in shock. The old alien roared, his voice shaking the walls. "This is not over." The daughter and the human walked side by side out of the hall, the whispers of the crowd following them. Behind them, her father's burning eyes promised vengeance. And though she had agreed to walk with the human, her heart was still torn. She was caught between blood and honor, between pride and curiosity. The path ahead was uncertain, and danger was already gathering in the shadows. The hall was empty now. The laughter, the whispers, the chaos, all had faded. Only the old alien remained at the black stone table, his claws pressed deep into the cracks he had made earlier. His breath was heavy, his eyes filled with fire. He had lost to a human, lost his wealth, lost his pride. Worst of all, he had lost his daughter. His heart, once swollen with arrogance, was now poisoned with shame. Around the galaxy, the news would spread like wildfire. The proud elder had gambled his bloodline, and a human had walked away the victor. No, he could not allow it. Slowly, he rose from the table. His gray skin glistened in the dim light, his shadow stretching long across the hall. His voice was low, but it carried the weight of his rage. "This human has stolen my name. He has stolen my honor. He has stolen what is mine. I will take it back. With blood." He left the hall, and in the darkness of the alleys outside, he summoned his loyal guards, warriors with black armor, red eyes, and blades that shimmered in the dark. They knelt before him, silent and deadly. "You will find the human," the old alien ordered. "You will kill him before sunrise. His victory will be erased, his body hidden, his name forgotten. No one will ever know he won. The guards bowed their heads in obedience. They lived for violence, and tonight their blades would drink human blood. But unseen, someone else was listening. The daughter. She had followed her father at a distance, her silver cloak wrapped tightly around her. She heard every word. Her heart sank. The human had offered her freedom, had shown her respect, and now her own father planned his murder. For years she had obeyed her father, endured his pride, his coldness, his cruelty. But this was too far, her mind raced. Should she stay silent and allow the human to be killed? Or should she warn him, the very man who had taken her fate into his hands? Her pride battled with her conscience, but in the end, something deep inside pushed her forward. She could not let him die. The human was staying in a small chamber at the edge of the marketplace. He had refused the luxurious offers of alien nobles, choosing instead a simple room. To him, victory was not about wealth or display. It was about proving something greater. He sat quietly, sharpening a small blade he carried not for attack but for survival. His face was calm, but his instincts were sharp. He knew victory often brought danger. The door creaked open. The daughter stepped inside, her face hidden by her hood. Her voice was sharp, almost angry. "You are a fool." The human looked up, surprised but steady.
"Why? Because you do not understand," she hissed.
"My father will not accept this. He will never accept this. Tonight he sends his guards to kill you." The human listened without fear. "I expected as much," he said softly. Her eyes widened. "You expected it? And yet you sit here calm as stone?" He set the blade aside and looked at her. "Fear does not save lives. Preparation does." She studied him, torn between frustration and admiration. He was not arrogant like her father, not fearful like others. He was simply, "Steady, you must leave," she said. "Now if you stay, you will die." The human shook his head. Running will not change his hatred. "If not tonight, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then next week. No, I will not run. If they come, I will face them." Her heart raced. For a moment, she felt the weight of choice pressing on her. Should she walk away and let her father's plan succeed? Or should she stay and stand beside the human? Before she could decide, the sound came. Heavy footsteps outside. The metallic scrape of weapons drawn. The low growls of warriors ready for blood. The assassins had arrived. The daughter's breath caught. It is too late. The human rose from his chair, calm as ever. He took his blade and stood tall. "Then let them come." The door burst open. Shadows poured inside, armored guards with blades shining red. Their eyes glowed like fire, their voices like thunder. For the elder, one growled. "The human dies tonight." The human stood firm, his grip steady. The daughter pressed back against the wall, her heart racing. She had seen many battles, but never had she felt this fear. The assassins advanced, and in that moment she made her choice. She stepped forward, her voice cutting through the room. "Stop!" she shouted. The guards hesitated, confused. "This human is not your enemy," she declared. "He won fairly. He showed honor where my father did not. If you kill him, you kill justice itself." The assassins looked uncertain. They were loyal, but her words carried power. She was still the bloodline of their master. The human glanced at her, his calm eyes finally softening for a moment. He had not expected her to stand with him. The leader of the assassins growled. "Our orders are clear. He must die." The daughter's eyes flashed with fire. "Then you will kill me first." Silence filled the room. The assassins froze. None of them dared to strike her. The human stepped forward, his voice strong and steady. "Enough, you came for blood. But tonight no blood will fall. Leave now. Tell your master, if he wants my life, he will have to take it himself." The assassins hesitated, their blades lowering. Slowly, one by one, they retreated into the shadows, their leader glaring but defeated. When the door closed, silence returned. The daughter turned to the human, her breath heavy. "You are a greater fool than I thought," she whispered. The human gave a small smile. "And yet, I am still alive." For the first time, her lips curved into the smallest of smiles, quickly hidden, but deep inside, both knew one truth. The old alien would not stop. Tonight had failed. But his revenge had only just begun. The night was long, but neither the human nor the daughter slept. The failed attack still echoed in the silence of the small chamber. The human sat near the window, sharpening his blade again with slow, steady strokes. The daughter paced across the floor, her silver cloak trailing behind her like a restless shadow. Her mind was heavy with questions. Why had she spoken against her father? Why had she defended this human, a stranger, an outsider, a man who had taken her fate with a single gamble? She stopped suddenly, her voice sharp.
Do you not understand?
My father will not stop. Tonight he sent guards. Tomorrow he may send armies. He would burn this city before he allows his shame to live. The human did not look up. His voice was calm, steady as ever. Then he will burn. But I will still stand. His words struck her like a blade. He spoke not with arrogance, but with a quiet strength that unnerved her. Most aliens shouted of their power, their weapons, their bloodlines. But this man spoke with no crown, no wealth, no army, only his resolve. You are foolish, she said, though her tone was softer now. You cannot fight an empire alone. The human finally looked at her. His eyes held no fear. Perhaps, but one man can show the truth, and sometimes that is enough. Her heart twisted. She wanted to mock him, to call him weak, but the words would not come. Instead, she remembered the table, the gamble, the way he had faced her father without flinching. A memory rose inside her, his voice calm and steady. I do not see you as a prize. You will choose your path, the choice. That word followed her like a ghost. Outside, the city was alive with whispers. The human's victory had spread across the marketplace. Merchants, travelers, and nobles all repeated the same story. A human had beaten a proud elder and claimed his daughter as the prize. Some laughed at the elder's shame. Others spoke of the human with awe. But not all whispers were kind. Many aliens growled that humans must be taught their place. The daughter knew the storm was coming. She turned to the human again, her voice low. Do you understand what you have done? You did not only wound my father. You wounded our name, our house, our power. The galaxy is watching now. They will not forgive. The human set the blade aside. I did not play for forgiveness. I played for respect, her eyes narrowed. Respect? You think respect will save you when swords are at your throat? Perhaps not, he said quietly. But without respect, life is nothing but chains. She looked away, unsettled. His words were too simple, too sharp, too true. Later, as dawn began to break, they left the chamber together. The streets were tense, filled with eyes watching them. Some aliens spat as they passed. Others bowed slightly, uncertain of what this human represented. The daughter walked beside him, her chin high, her pride still burning. Yet inside, she felt something she could not explain. Safety. Not because he was stronger. He was not. Not because he had armies, he had none. But because he was unshaken. When they reached the outer courts, a group of alien nobles blocked their way. They were dressed in dark robes, their faces sharp with anger. Human. One hissed. You shame us all. You twist our games and steal what is not yours. Leave now or you will not leave alive. The human did not move. His calm gaze swept across them. If you believe I stole, then show your proof. If you believe I cheated, then call the judges again. But you know the truth. I played fair, I won. You cannot change it. The nobles snarled, drawing their blades. But before they could strike, the daughter stepped forward. Her voice rang clear, strong as steel. He speaks truth. He did not cheat. He did not steal. My father chose the wager and he lost. The nobles froze. Her words carried weight. She was still the bloodline of the elder. To strike the human now would mean striking her as well. The human glanced at her. For the first time there was gratitude in his eyes. Not spoken but clear. She felt heat rise in her chest, though she quickly turned her head to hide it. That night they found shelter in the hills outside the city. The fire burned low between them, the stars wide and endless above. The daughter sat quietly, her hands clasped around her knees. Finally she spoke, her voice soft. Why did you spare the assassins? The human poked the fire with a stick, his tone steady. Because mercy cuts deeper than revenge. Kill one and 10 more will rise. Spare one and sometimes even an enemy becomes a friend. She stared at him, stunned. No alien elder had ever spoken such words. Mercy was weakness to them. But to this human it was strength. Her chest tightened. She remembered her father's rage, his obsession with pride, his cruel wager. Then she remembered the human's calm, his steady eyes, his promise of choice. And in that moment something shifted inside her. She realized she did not want to return to her father's shadow. She realized she no longer wanted to be a coin in his games of pride. For the first time in her life, she wanted to walk her own path. Her voice trembled, but her words were clear. Then I choose. I will walk with you. The human looked at her. His calm face softened. Not as my prize? She shook her head, her eyes steady. Not as your prize, as your ally. The fire cracked. The stars blazed brighter, and the choice was made. The city trembled with noise when dawn broke. From every tower, from every street, from every shadow, whispers rose like smoke. The tale had spread across the galaxy. A human had beaten the old alien elder, had claimed his wager, and now walked beside the elder's daughter. For some, it was comedy. For others, it was shame. But for many, it was fear. If a single human could win such a gamble, what else were humans capable of? The old alien did not sleep. His eyes were red, his pride burned hotter than fire. His enemies mocked him, his allies abandoned him. His name was now tied to disgrace. And so there was only one path left to him: blood. He sent out the call for a duel. Not a hidden attack, not assassins in the dark. This time it would be public, before the eyes of all. A final fight to erase his shame. If he killed the human, the galaxy would forget his defeat. If he died, at least he would fall with honor. The challenge was delivered. The human accepted. The arena was carved from black stone, older than the city itself. Thousands filled the seats, aliens from 100 worlds, their eyes glowing with hunger for spectacle. Above them, banners of fire lit the sky, announcing the duel between human and elder. The human stepped into the ring. He carried no grand weapons, only a simple blade and his steady calm. Across from him, the old alien towered with rage. He wore heavy armor, his claws sharpened, his weapon a great spear that pulsed with deadly light. The daughter stood at the edge, her heart pounding. She had chosen to walk with the human, but now fear gnawed at her. Could he truly stand against her father's strength? Could resolve alone defeat power? The signal rang. The duel began. The elder charged like a storm, his spear cutting the air with blinding speed. The crowd roared, certain the human would fall in the first strike, but the human moved with precision. He sidestepped, his blade flashing just enough to deflect the blow. The clash echoed like thunder. Dust rose. The crowd gasped. Again and again the elder struck, his strength shaking the arena. And again the human avoided, blocked, turned aside. He did not fight with brute force. He fought with patience. He fought with thought. The daughter's eyes widened. She remembered his words. Fear does not save lives. Preparation does. Now she saw the truth. He had studied every move, every strike. He was not stronger, but he was smarter. The elder's rage grew wild. His attacks lost rhythm, fueled by fury instead of control. Sweat poured from his skin, his breath grew heavy. The human waited. Then with one calm step he struck. His blade sliced not into the elder's heart, but across his spear, shattering its glowing tip. The weapon fell useless to the ground. The crowd erupted in shock. The elder roared, dropping the broken weapon, lunging with claws bare. But the human was ready. With one swift motion, he brought his blade to the elder's throat. Silence. The arena froze. The old alien's body trembled. He could feel the blade pressing against his skin. One move, one breath, and he would die. The crowd held its breath. Would the human kill? Would he claim total victory? The human's voice rang clear, calm, steady. I do not need your blood. Your defeat is enough. He lowered his blade. Gasps filled the air. No alien would have shown such mercy. To them, victory meant death. But the human had chosen differently. The elder sank to his knees, his pride broken beyond repair. His eyes burned with hate, but his strength was gone. The duel was over. The human had won. The daughter stepped into the ring, her silver cloak catching the light. She looked at the human with awe, her heart trembling. He had not only won, he had changed the meaning of victory itself. She turned to the crowd, her voice strong. You have seen it with your own eyes. Power alone does not rule the stars. Pride alone does not win the day. Humanity has shown what true strength is: patience, courage, and mercy. The arena thundered with voices, some in rage, others in respect. But one truth could not be denied: the human had triumphed. That night, under the endless stars, the daughter and the human walked together beyond the city walls. The wind was cool, carrying whispers of change. She looked at him, her voice softer than ever. Today you defeated more than my father. You defeated an empire of pride. The human gave a small smile. No, I only reminded them that humans cannot be ignored. She studied him, her heart caught between admiration and wonder. For the first time, she felt not as a prize, not as a daughter bound to pride, but as a person walking her own path. And beside her walked a human who had changed the galaxy with nothing but resolve. The galaxy would never forget that day. A human had beaten an elder. A human had spared his enemy. A human had stood against the arrogance of the stars and won. And from that moment on, every alien who looked upon humanity whispered the same truth. Humans are not to be underestimated.